you for coming. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Yvette Conyers. I'm the Associate Dean for Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion here at the School of Nursing. I'm also an assistant professor in the Department of Family Community Health, mainly teaching online courses, but hopefully I'll get a chance to teach one of you in your online class as you're here to learn more about what's happening here. I'm going to introduce or have my colleague introduce herself, Susan.
Yeah, hi, thanks, Yvette. My name is Susan Colvin. I'm the admissions recruiter here for the University of Maryland School of Nursing, and I'm just here to support with any admissions questions or if anyone, is kind of seeking some other information as well.
And we also have Jaslyn on the call. I'm not sure if she can say anything right now. Yep.
Yep, I can. Hi, everyone. I'm Jaslyn Huntley-Pierre. I also work in admissions, and I'm one of the associate directors.
Okay. So we're going to get started with a brief, and when I say brief, y'all, I mean brief PowerPoint, really about sort of embracing identities and the value of EDI or equity, diversity, and inclusion. Jaslyn, are you able to manage the chat and or waiting room?
I sure can.
Okay, thank you. All right. So hopefully you're all able to see my screen. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Kaya. So today, just spending a little bit of time talking about embracing identities and honoring diversity. And you may be thinking, wait, hold up. I came to really hear maybe about admissions to see if University of Maryland is right for me. Well, this is also an opportunity for you to see what type of culture, what type of institution you will be coming to know how you can be supported as an individual and how we at University of Maryland School of Nursing, or UMSON, come together to thrive as a school and as a community. So just a little brief agenda, want to get acquainted. That means hopefully you're in a space where you can unmute or participate in the chat, because I want to get to know you a little bit. I want to know who the potential folks are coming and who I'll have an opportunity to interact with. A little bit of who you are, identity and positionality. I'll share a little bit about me outside of those titles, a little bit about who I am, my journey towards being a nurse, and I've been a nurse for over 20 years. Who we are at the Office of Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion here at the School of Nursing. So ways that we want to support you as you're coming in, being able to bring your authentic self, being able to feel like you're in a psychologically safe space, and all those things that truly do enhance your learning and your growth here at the school. And then talk a little bit about restorative justice or restorative approach, which is a format or framework that we use here at the School of Nursing. I want to start by saying you belong here. All right, you're here for a reason. It was made for you to be here for this 45 minutes with time together, less than that. And I want you to think about that. And I want you to think about, from today moving forward, what you're going to do to really grab hold of the fact that you do belong here. So again, I'm Yvette Conyers, Associate Dean of Equity, Diversity, Inclusion. I've been here about a year and some change. I'm originally from upstate New York, or Rochester, New York. So again, the purpose of this presentation is really to talk about exploring our own personal identities and experience, and how those then begin to shape our understanding of EDI, again, equity, diversity, and inclusion. I'm glad that you are here with us today. Again, if I cannot emphasize this again, you belong here. And I hope through this presentation today, you will feel that sense of warmth, that sense of value, that sense of, yes, I can do this, and I'm going to move forward with my application to start your journey to become an amazing nurse. So if you can, please unmute for me or put in the chat, what is your name? Are you a prospective student or are you a current student? Anyone can share. And I can't see the chat, but I have someone managing it. So again, you can use the chat or just come off mute really quickly. What's your name? And are you a potential student, current student? And what you here for?
All right. Rakia said, Rakia is a prospective student.
Okay.
Sydney is also a prospective student.
All right.
Megan is also a prospective student.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for those who shared. Really appreciate it. All right, let's get going here. So when we talk about DEI, right, or EDI, or whatever you want to say it, it is a core value of ours. Equity and justice is a core value here at the University of Maryland, Baltimore. And then, of course, that trickles down to the School of Nursing. And hopefully, again, you'll feel that. The inclusivity part is, here's a quote by a book that we have read before here at the School of Nursing called Inclusive Conversations. Inclusivity creates an environment where all are fully welcomed, valued, and respected for all of who they are because of their differences. Inclusion is not about tolerance. It's not about full acceptance. It is about full acceptance, right? And so when you come here, our hope is that you're bringing your stuff and everything that you have with you, whether you are a caretaker, whether you are a parent, whether you are someone who has a disability, whether you are someone who has mental health challenges, whether you are someone who is taking care of their grandparents, right, or their parents. We hope, it is my hope, that through all those things that you're going through, that you still feel included, and again, a part of this community where you can feel like you thrive. We want your voice to be heard. And we create a space in the Office of EDI to ensure that voices are being heard as much as possible. And there are anonymous ways for you to also share your voice, concerns, things that are going well, things that are not going well with us, right? Many different spaces for that. And when you come here, we'll let you know about that. Our goal is to prioritize EDI in an environment where you feel, again, that you are included. So when you hear about this topic of EDI, if anyone wants to, again, just unmute and chat, how valuable or important is equity, diversity, and inclusion in nursing? Why would we be talking about this in nursing? Anyone want to share? This is admissions, right? But yet we're talking about equity, diversity, inclusion. Why are we doing this? Don't be shy, y'all.
To be able to know that everyone matters, like no matter where you're from, you're important,
Yeah.
and your voice is, always heard. No matter your whatever problem you have, you can always, share whatever you want to share with people, and you'll be glad you did, like, answered. You'll be given like a consideration, something like that.
Yeah, because your voice matters. Your patient's voices matter. As you are beginning to come nurses, right? Your patient in front of you has a story. They're not known as the one who has diabetes or the one who has high blood pressure or the one who had a stroke or the baby who was born 10 weeks early, right? They have a name. They have a story. Their parents have a story, right? That's part of the reason for sure. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else? Why are we talking about equity, diversity, inclusion, and making sure you understand its importance as coming here to the School of Nursing? What's the so
Cindy
what there?
Cindy
Yeah.
also dropped something in the chat. It says, we serve a diverse population, we all belong.
Yeah, we surely do, right? We know through statistics, and you'll learn more about this in school and probably from some of your background, that our world is changing, right? We used to have majority white population, majority male population as well. Demographics are beginning to change where we are becoming more diverse and specifically more Hispanic Latinx population, right? So if anyone has that skill set of being bilingual, having an additional language that you have mastered, what a great asset to you as a future nursing student to be able to utilize that to provide care for individuals and families and communities alike, right? There has been a lot of emphasis on health equity, right? Making sure that people who do not have the resources get the resources that they need, leveraging some power differences, and just, again, assuring that outcomes are met for all groups of people, right? Especially those who have been historically or currently marginalized. Let me keep going here. Went the wrong way, sorry. I want to share a little bit more about who I am. So obviously I gave the title, right? Associate Dean. But I want to remove that for a little bit and just come to you as a nurse. So I'm originally from upstate New York, Rochester, New York, specifically. That is the home of Lillian Wald. Lillian Wald was a public health nurse who was born in Rochester, New York, and died in Rochester, New York. And she was the founder of like public health nursing, community health nursing. I became a proud nurse a long time ago, but I like to say I fell in love with nursing when I started doing community health nursing. So not at the bedside, but out in the community, right? In the zip codes, I used to say like with my people, boots on the ground, right? So I'm the home of, from the home of Lillian Wald. I have one son, that's Amari, that's a few years ago. And this is my other family, my brother, my mom, who's the little shorty next to me, my sister, which is to my right, and then my father. And this was me celebrating a birthday a few years ago. Family is a core value for me, right? Family may be very important to you. So thinking about your journey here at the School of Nursing, relying on your family may be a core that you have to do. And for us to recognize that and for you to recognize that. This is my other brother from my father's side. He's over in LA. That's Truce. That's my 4-year-old Yorkie, y'all. Truce is a combination of two names, Todd and Bruce. And both Todd and Bruce were, Todd was my nephew, and Bruce was my cousin. Both of them were unfortunately succumbed to death a couple years ago. Todd was actually from a medical misdiagnosis. He was about 22 years old. He went into urgent care and they told him that he was having heartburn issues and he was having a massive heart attack. And he went home that day and he passed away. 22 years old, massive heart attack. And Bruce was my cousin who succumbed to a knife fight. He got into a fight with a knife or not with a knife. He got into a fight with someone who had a knife and that unfortunately took his life. And so I called him Truce as a combination of two names, but also let's call a truce to violence in our city and violence in our community, as well as medical misdiagnoses. And much of that was related to a bias that the provider had because of how my nephew looked. I was the previous president of the Rochester Black Nurses Association. I say this because hopefully you'll begin to understand the importance of professional nursing organizations. And as a student, think about joining one and how you can begin to form collaboration and partnerships with folks. Here at the School of Nursing, we have many student nursing organizations that based on your belonging, based on your identity, you can think about coming a part of. And that was one for me that I started about 5 years ago in Rochester, New York. It's a little hard to see this, but this was a picture I took with a nursing theorist by the name of Madeline Leininger. And when you get into nursing school, you learn about all these different nursing theorists. And she was a theorist who was responsible for transcultural nursing. And that's how I got one of my nursing certifications. She has since passed away, but that's when I was doing home care and got to be trained underneath her. A little bit more, I love to travel. I love beach and warm weather and sun. That's important to you as you think about your mental health, right? Coming to the School of Nursing, any School of Nursing, it's rigorous, it's hard. You may understand that based on some of the electives you're doing. Mental health is important. So think about how you're going to bring that into your everyday, every week responsibilities and things you got going on here. Just recently, I was inducted as a fellow into the Academy of Diversity Leaders in Nursing. That just sort of highlights my area and expertise in equity, diversity, and inclusion. And again, how I want to be able to support you in that space as well. I am a certified foot care nurse, and I am a certified wound care nurse, advanced practice. And so that means I provide wound care as my specialty. And then also for those who have a hard time reaching their feet, those long, thick toenails, they have corns and calluses and can barely walk. I'm actually one of those nurses who enjoy bringing satisfaction to the fact that now they're able to walk. Now they're able to, have just better feet, moisture and all that good stuff. So I actually have a mobile foot care business where I provide foot and nail care to older individuals. And that's just a couple of my certifications. And the last picture is actually, I like to be involved with advocacy and policy. And advocacy as a nurse, eventually you'll learn this, is a key aspect of nursing. how we use our voice to make change in communities. This is a picture of myself with the dean. The dean is on the right, the taller woman. That's Dr. Yolanda Obalu. She is the dean here at the University of Maryland School of Nursing. And then the middle there is one of our senators, Congressman Kwesi Mfame. And that was us in DC earlier this year. So that's a little bit about me. I want to talk a little bit and change over to sort of identity and positionality. Identity is really about our characteristics or attributes that make up who we are. I shared a little bit about mine, and I'm going to share a little bit more in a little bit. Identity can be influenced by multiple factors: race, religion, socioeconomic status, your personal history. And that's important when you come here because your identities matter, right? As we heard earlier. And then positionality really is how you are in position to sort of the social constructs that have been set up in the world. Again, may involve race, class, gender, sexual orientations, etc. I like to do this activity because as a nursing student, I still believe it's very important for you to understand how you present and how you are coming to this space. This is a wheel of what's called a web of oppression, or the wheel of power and privilege, that we actually use in the curriculum. It's a beginning conversation to get nursing students to understand who you are. When you wake up in the morning every day, who are you, right? And so I want you to look at this wheel. And if possible, if you can put in the chat or unmute, what are some of these identities that really stand out to you? What are some of these that you really think about the most? And it may take a minute. And as you are thinking about that, the center of the wheel is where we would say most folks have power, meaning the ability to influence and really use that identity to make decisions. The outer side of the wheel is maybe more those who have been historically or currently marginalized, who have less power and might not have been able to help shape policy or systems, right? Just based on those identities. So if anyone wants to chat or unmute, what are some of the identities that stand out to you in terms of this wheel? Anything standing out to anyone in terms of where you may be? Are you more on the marginalized side? Are you more one who has sort of power or privilege on the inside? Anyone want to share today?
Can you repeat the question again? I wasn't clear.
Yeah, looking at this wheel, where do you lie? Do you, for example, I take citizenship, which is sort of the top quadrant. I'm a citizen, right? And so that puts me in that darker sort of orange red color, which may mean that I have a little bit more power, right? Versus someone who is undocumented citizen, where that they may be more marginalized. So out of this wheel, sort of the little spices, if anyone wants to share where they are or what their identities are.
Okay, so for me, citizenship, I'm not yet a citizen. I am an SID, so I can say maybe I'm marginalized to an extent.
Okay.
And
You are a citizen or are not?
not.
Okay, all
I'm
right.
still
So,
waiting. Yeah.
okay, got it. Thank you for sharing. Okay.
Yeah. I think
Anyone
then the language, because my
language?
first language is English, but I'm from Nigeria, so the accent, the way we talk is quite different from, so
Mm,
some people might say we don't understand what you're saying. What did you say? You have to repeat, several times before they can comprehend whatever you're talking about. So I think that's an issue too, but
Are you multilingual? You have
yes, I speak
yeah.
I speak my language and I speak English too. So
Yeah, and so that's missing from this wheel, right? So it's important to also note, y'all, that there are things that may be missing from this wheel. What's not on this wheel that I would add that has a little bit more power than English if someone's multilingual, right? That's a huge asset again, that when you're applying, you want to make sure you talk to in your application that you are multilingual and how that can help you on your journey towards being a nurse. Right?
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome. Anyone else? Let's break down an example here. Okay, we're gonna go on to another slide that's gonna ask some questions. So those of you who can, please let me know what you're thinking. This is another wheel, right? It's not all filled in, and there's a purpose to that. But I do want to have you think about these sort of few questions. How often do you think about your identities? Which ones, again, do you think about maybe most often or least often? Are there ones that may have a strongest effect on how you perceive yourself, or are there identities that you have that have the greatest effect on how others perceive you? So if a couple people can unmute or chat, and thank you again, Rakaya, for your participation today. I really do appreciate it. But others, what are you thinking here? When you wake up every day, sort of what takes on your lens as to how you navigate your world and your space, which is going to be very similar to how you come here at the School of Nursing.
I have something in the chat. Cindy said race and gender.
Okay. Yeah. Race and gender for many folks, especially if they are in a marginalized group, it seems that race and gender sort of takes the front, right? I would say many times for males entering the School of Nursing and be a nursing student, we are about 12% population of males. And we are about 63% underrepresented, racial and ethnic groups. And so for a male who's on the call, who may be thinking about coming here to the School of Nursing, we are one of the schools that have a higher percentage of males. I'll say that, but we still need to do work, which means you may not always see males when you come here in your cohort, right? Or in your smaller classes. That's something that we're working on, but then you may feel like you're in a marginalized group just because of the profession of nursing is really still very white and very female. We're working on diversifying that for sure. But just think about how your lens is coming into this space. Thank you for that.
So mine again here is the religion, because I'm a Muslim, and we have the way we dress, and some people still see us as, I don't know, like it's a religion of violence and stuff like that, which is not true.
Yeah.
So that's like is a concern for me too, because I use my hijab, like my, the way I dress and everything.
Yep.
So yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. So obviously after 9/11 happened, the views on certain groups was that, they're bad, right? I'll just use that as you had mentioned as well. We do have students, staff, faculty who do identify as Muslim and other religions who may wear something externally, and then you can see that. I will say within the University of Maryland, Baltimore, there are resources and groups to support various religions and faiths, including prayer space that is offered for students who need that time to prayer. Our faculty and staff try to be as accommodating as possible if you need your time to step out of the class to pray at those certain hours or certain times of the day, as well as if there are religious accommodations that are necessary, then there is a form that can be submitted each semester for classes to let the faculty and staff know that these are days and times of that I will potentially have a conflict related to clinical and what your preferences are. And we try to support that as much as possible. Again, looking at the space of equity, diversity, inclusion. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
All right, so again, that positionality we talked about a little bit, where one is located in relation to their various social identities, and again, how the combination of their identities then intersect. It is important as you are coming to the School of Nursing that you understand a little bit about who you are, because as you're interacting with patients, as you're interacting with the system of our School of Nursing, the system of hospitals and other community clinicals we're in, right, there's going to be power in some positionality. So I mentioned to y'all, or you may be able to see that I'm a Black woman. I'm a Black cis woman. I was raised in a single parent home. And by the age of 17, I was pregnant. And I showed y'all my son, Amari. I am a millennial. So that's important to think about generational differences. How I lead, how I supervise, how I work as a nurse, and my work ethic may be different, right, from that baby boomer. I was born, raised, and educated in upstate New York. And I originally went to a community college. I am an associate's degree nurse to begin with. So I went for my 2-year degree, and then eventually went back for my bachelor's in nursing, so RN to BS, and then a master's, another master's, and then my doctorate, all while raising my son, right? And so it was important to me that my school and that my professors knew I was raising a son. I was doing the best that I can with my assignments, and I made sure that communication to them on if I needed an extension, right? That communication piece was very important to them and very important to me to know what's going on. I'm an educator. I love educating. I've been in academia over a decade. I love teaching and really seeing you as nursing students get that aha moment, that light bulb goes off, and really understanding your why at the end of the day. And as I mentioned, I'm a wound care and a foot care nurse practitioner. These are the members of our office. So I mentioned who I am. To my right is Oni, who is the manager of the office. She was supposed to be here today, but unfortunately she's out. So I'm filling in for her. Below that, we have Emily New, who is the coordinator. So we'll offer events and opportunities for you to come and meet us. We'll have stuff in the lobby. We'll have stuff at University of Shady Grove campus. You'll likely see Emily quite a bit. And then Dr. Hannah Murphy-Buck, she's the Director of Restorative Justice Program, which I'll talk about in just a minute. We do have cultural events. We have listening sessions. We have professional development sessions for faculty and staff. We have a book for lunch club every other month where we read a book or we watch a documentary and then come together to talk about it. That is open to you all as students as well. And then we also have visiting hours on Thursdays from 12 to 1, where if you just wanted to walk into our office and talk to one of us about something's going on, just because you had some time, we're happy to do that. You may see me guest lecturing in some of your classes, first semester and second semester. I guest lecture as well on various topics, but a lot of them are related to community health and health equity, bias, unconscious bias, things like that. These are a few pictures of various events that we've done. Last year, we had a Native American Heritage Month event where we invited some members from the Native American community to talk to us about their culture. And we did a very cultural dance with them. And it was really nice to learn more. And these are a couple of our other book for lunch pictures. This is in unison. Together we commit, together we act. If you have not been to the campus space and you are coming, you will see this plastered all over. This was a anti-oppression statement created in 2021. So before I came, where the University of Maryland School of Nursing wanted to acknowledge the impact of structural racism and other forms of oppression on our country, in our community, Baltimore specifically, in our school, right? And so this was a deep commitment from students, staff, and faculty who got together to confront these injustices head on. It was a declaration of these statements that we have here, but also these statements sort of summarize the work that we want to do in order to really foster inclusivity and really champion everyone for equity for all. So this was 2021, so we just celebrated our 3rd year. And these are just some of the statements. And the hope is that you will see this, that it will resonate with you, and that you'll be able to take some of these statements and really make them actionable, as we have the motto of together we commit, together we act. It's one thing to commit and to say words, but it's another thing to put it into action, right? And so these are some of the things that we'll ask of you coming here. And then the last slide is about restorative justice. And restorative justice program here at the University of Maryland School of Nursing is about building strong, healthy relationships on campus and in our community. There's a framework that involves sort of 4 principles. It's about inclusion and participation. It's about compassionate communication. It's about an openness to learn, and it's about collaboration, right? The approach is really to looking at repairing relationships and building communities, building those new relationships and as well. And we do this through circles, where we may have these circle formats for us to come together and learn about each other. Brainstorming or planning, implementing projects, as well as if there is any conflict with the individual or individuals, we can use these circles. Circle practice is not new, right? Historically, it has been known to indigenous communities where folks are coming together in circle, literally a circle, removing the tables, removing the desk, removing all the things that can be a barrier, and we're coming together. Usually something is placed at the center for us to, focus on. And there's a talking piece that we use so that one person is talking at a time. This is actually implemented in the curriculum. So if you choose to come here at the School of Nursing, you will experience what a circle process is and how we use it, both in building community and in restoring harm, right? One thing we just started this semester is the Restorative Justice Student Leadership Program. So we are preparing students to be leaders in restorative justice. It's a new sort of program for us, but it is allowing students to build community, to facilitate dialogue, and to be a mentor and a support to your peers who may come to you with challenges or concerns that they are having. I want to end with, again, a reminder that you do belong here. We hope that you take the next step. Feel free to use the rest of this time to ask Susan or Jaslyn any questions about admissions, or, hey, I'm ready, sign me up. What is the next step for me to come to the University of Maryland School of Nursing? I truly do hope I get to meet you in person. And in the meantime, feel free to send me an email. I'll drop my email in the chat. If you have any other questions specifically about how we can support you and your cultural identities, your differences, but also the similarities that you'll bring here to the school to make it a better place where you can thrive. Any questions? And thank you. All right. If anyone wants to unmute, come on video so we can see you. Let us know what you're thinking, how you're feeling, right? Or ask the admissions folks any questions. Please do so now.
No real questions yet. Only Cindy said, great presentation. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Megan said, bye. Thank you.
Bye, Megan. Thank you. Cindy, thanks. Use this time, y'all. You got admissions here. Any questions you want to ask? No question is too difficult or dumb or anything like that. How can we support you in your next steps? Thank you, Rakaya. All right, so everybody got their application ready to push send? No questions about your application process? No questions about, will this class transfer or not? Y'all good?
So Liana, the due date is different for every program. What program are you referring to? So for BSN, fall 2025, the priority is December 15th and regular admission is February 1st. spring 2025. If you're interested in applying for spring, I'm going to put my email in the chat. You're more than welcome to reach out to me. You would have to basically be able to apply and finalize everything like today. Oh, okay. Okay. You already got admitted for the class I'm taking, the transcript for BSN. So Kelly might have to jog my memory. Is there a specific date? I know it's 2 weeks before class starts, but
What
you're
was
here
the
for
question?
Scholar.
Just to go backtrack for a second, we do still have some time for spring 2025. So reach out to us so we can help you expedite that process, but there is still time for spring 2025. And then what was the question?
The due date for like remaining coursework
Oh,
for spring 25.
Anna, I know your name. We have to have your final transcript in by January 20th with your updated classes, so we can review everything and
Okay.
mark that you have all the prerequisites.
They said you're here for scholarships, I thought, but I'm working. Leon, did you already apply for scholarships for spring 25?
Merit scholarships open January 15th, I believe, and close January 30th.
Okay,
Donor, not merit.
Oh, I'm sorry, donor, thank you.
we're donor, right? Everything else, like Conway's closed for spring. I think Merritt might already be closed for spring. Is that correct?
Yeah, Merit and Conway have already been decided, so donor are the last school of nursing options, but you can also look
Right.
for outside scholarships.
Sorry,
Scholarship.com,
I
scholarship.org. Hi, Leanna.
texting, sorry. So what were you saying about the scholarships?
The donor
I didn't hear you.
scholarships will open up
Yes.
in January 15th, and then they close January 30th.
Okay.
And you do find them on the
Okay, is
website.
there like a link?
Yeah, they're on the
Okay.
website.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You're
Yeah.
welcome.
Any other questions anyone wants to ask? Although there is another email, admissions.nursing@umaryland.edu. If folks have specific questions they do not want to ask in this sort of more open format. But we want to make sure you utilize us as the resources that you have in front of you if you do have questions.
Whose office are you referring to? The Office of Admission or Dr. Conyers? We're all based out of the Baltimore location. We're downtown, 655 West Lombard Street. We're right across the street from shock trauma, so there's a lot going on, but we're all in this building. So that's where the Office of Admissions is. But if you want to come in to see us, please schedule an appointment.
Okay. Jaslyn, are we keeping this open till 2 or do you?
No, I think if no one else has questions, we can close it out.
So there is a question about how do I schedule an appointment, and you'll do that through our website under Visit Us. You're welcome.
Thank you. Again, we want to thank you for coming today. Look forward to seeing some of you at a future semester here. And once again, we thank you and you all have a great holiday season and a great day. Bye.
Bye.